Boom to the hey, all you sports fans out there in the two-sphere, to you, the individuals, part of the collective. Welcome to Fast Track Sports Records here on Talk Radio version of the OMSR. I am your brief and concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. Talking briefly and concisely, quickie review, relied on the All-Star Hall of Fame team there at CFB Final about the Military Bowl with Marshall and Maryland. Alright, so just a brief reminder, the sponsor of this show is the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. It covers a fair use standard, minimal use, and derivatives. So all the video highlights courtesy to ESPN and the respective universities and the NCAA. Everything else, over here yonder to the OMSR. Alright, so this was, couldn't quite cover all the games, did a big full-on expose show, which isn't much longer than these talk radio versions for the Utah State and Northern Illinois, given the fact that Northern Illinois was only a one-loss team and Utah State was a top 10 defense. Check it out. That's some good work going on there on the OMSR's part. I tend to defer to the talk radio version and rely on them even more so heavily for some of the midstream, with all due respect to the bowl game, to give a quickie review, because what's coming up next, you got to see the last 2 minutes of Syracuse, Minnesota, and for sure going to do a show from the set for Washington, BYU. So that's how I roll here. Always do a little bit of a show in one form or another to let you know the clip order and the whys and the wherefores coming up. So this is a synopsis, or synopsizing, if you prefer, and what's coming up for tomorrow. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. No silly DUIs while you're out there. Roll clips.
Being a defensive player, those 229 yards, Mark, as you look at notable bowl performances, broke Tony Dorsett's Pittsburgh Bowl record.
The Hawk, and that's mighty impressive. But Paul, Chris, how come you're not playing James Conner earlier in the season? That's what I asked you. But the freshman was phenomenal. Most impressive performances, both of them for me, by Pittsburgh Panthers. James Conner, the 229, big fella, 230 pounds, a freshman. Tyler Boyd, the wide receiver, 173 yards receiving, a freshman in a punt return for a touchdown.
Against Bowling Green, who lost their coach. But let's go on here to Marquise Lee, the USC wide receiver. Going into the year, he might be the most talented receiver in the entire country. 118 yards and 2 touchdowns, 7 receptions. He's really an outstanding athlete. Good to see him finish so strong.
Those 2 touchdowns doubled his season output. That was remarkable at 25 over his first couple of seasons. And this guy was great at keeping opposing players in the Pac-12 out of the end zone. Nick Aliotti, the defensive coordinator for the Ducks, retiring after 24 years of coaching. Was broken up some time with the Rams and a year at UCLA, but he had been under 3 different head coaches at Oregon, defensive coordinator since '99. He spanned the gap between Rich Brooks, Chip Kelly, Mike Bellotti, and then finally with Mark Helfrich. You see the great work that Nick has done in his career, one of our favorite guys to cover him. Certainly we wish him well in retirement.
Nothing but the best for Nick Aliotti. He's done a tremendous job for college football, the 24 years in college football, 17 as a defensive coordinator, put a lot of guys into the NFL, and he's been great for Oregon in college football. Nothing but the best coach.
What's really amazing, you think about the Duck Dynasty as offense, and this guy's been there for years. Remember, we did a championship game. He did a tremendous job against Cam Newton and Auburn, although they didn't win.
And I think perhaps, I say this somewhat tongue-in-cheek, Nick's most valuable contribution to college football, he has added to our college football final lexicon country fumble and city fumble. City fumble, a lot of people around it jump on it. Country fumble, pick it up and scoop and score because you're out in the country, courtesy of Nick Aliotti. Minnesota ran a draw, but the officials didn't give him 4 seconds back on the clock. I don't know, maybe in theory had another opportunity. Earlier today, Military Bowl, Marshall and Maryland, some of our people serving our country, taking in the Marshall-Maryland game. Rakeem Cato finding Tommy Schuler in the Thundering Herd up 7-0. You know about all of the injuries that Maryland's had at wide receiver. How about C.J. Brown finding Amba Adetoa, who's picked up some of the slack, Mark?
Terrific job by C.J. Brown of keeping this play alive. Right here, he should be sacked, but he keeps his head down the field and focus and flicks the ball to his receiver. Searching for first down.
Just a couple of plays later, Brown, under some duress, but not the same level, throws a strike to Laverne Jacobs. Maryland ties the game at 7. Next Marshall drive, coach Rakeem Cato to Gator Hospital.
Well, this is just a very nice throw here, but what a great year of Marshall's had.
They would continue to get better, though this drive will be a 17-play, 99-yard drive, longest for Maryland in 10 years. Brown finding Dave Steinbach. 20-17, Terps have the lead. Esre Talafero finding some room. Hurd back on top, 24-20, and under 5 minutes to play, 3rd and 11. Tremendous effort by Gator Hoskins, who's over 100 yards.
He's not going to be denied. Dragging defenders. Look at those Maryland defenders trying to bring him down. It takes 3 to get him on the ground.
Hurd into the red zone, and that is where Cato would find the Gator again. They can't hold that Gator back. 337 yards, 3 touchdowns for Cato, 31-20. Marshall has a 10-win season, and Rakeem Cato put on a show. He goes over 10,000 yards for his career, and he's been a brilliant quarterback, starting to get on the radar now as he heads into next season.
He's got another year left. He's a junior, and in this game he was very generous with the football, spreading it out to 8 different receivers, and I thought that was key in this game because what he was able to do, he kept plays alive with his legs. He had 36 touchdown passes coming into this game and another 3 in this game. And here he is, accurate with the football, getting into the Gator Hoskins right here, and right here, watch his feet. Keeps it alive, shuffles around, finds a receiver downfield, but here's key right here, stepping up in the pocket, keeping the play alive, keeping it going, looking downfield. Doesn't have to run with the football, flicks it down, picks up another huge game for this Marshall offense, and here off the play action, just flips it into the end zone. The thing about Cato, what he's able to do is, besides keeping the play alive, he's smart enough and he's got the football IQ to know where to go with the football and find
He's
his
good enough, and gosh darn it, people like him.
The end of an era for Maryland. Their final football game anyway, as an ACC team. They move into the Big Ten next year. What does that mean for Maryland football based on what you've seen?
Oh, I think it'll be a very positive thing, but there's always mixed reaction. Let's remember when Texas A&M and Missouri went into the SEC 2 years ago, everybody said, oh, I don't think they can compete, and lo and behold, they have. I think the fact that Maryland had 9 starters that they lost at various times of the year, and some of the most talented people, they still managed to get to a bowl. Yeah, it'll be an adjustment period, but I think Coach Etzel has this program in the right way. And when we look at Marshall, and you wonder, why did they win the championship game as talented as they are? And let's also remember this. Marshall was favored going into this game.
How about Maryland? You think they're going to do well right off the bat in the Big Ten? Are they going to be able to compete with the Michigan States and the Ohio States and the Michigans right off the bat?
Who knows how Michigan's going to be year after year? I don't know. Yeah, I think they compete with many of them in there. I think Coach Etzel's done a nice job. Let's remember this. His first game there, they beat Miami. Everybody's all excited, and then they had all kinds of injuries. They had people leave, and his first year was a disaster. 2 years ago, he's got him in a bowl.
Okay, coming up tomorrow, you got the Belt Bowl. He's got Cincinnati taking on North Carolina.
Well, Cincinnati's really had a very fine year, and you have to look at Brandon Tate, the quarterback. He's outstanding. However, North Carolina one time was 1-5 to Marcus Williams. He has turned that program around. He's their leading rusher. He also makes things happen with his feet and his arms and his leadership. I am impressed.
Russell Athletic Bowls, Miami and Louisville. This could be the ACC championship game matchup next year.
It definitely could if Teddy Bridgewater comes back, but I don't know if he will. I think he's going to be the first quarterback taken in a draft. Here he does everything well. 2011 completed 65% of his passes. 2012, 69. 2013, 70%. That's what you like to see, the accuracy getting better. He's got a terrific touch and command of this offense. Great with the football. Goes down the field vertically when he has to and has to touch to drop it off. I'm impressed with his decision-making with the football, and I think that's going to help him in the next level, but it's going to help him in this game against Miami. And it's a homecoming for Teddy and 23 of his teammates.
You know, I always said that not by way of prediction that Miami and Louisville could be the ACC championship game. With the Cardinals moving into that league, they'll be in opposite divisions. What is there to gain for Miami in this game?
Well, I think the fact they're going to a bowl and they're going to be playing a team that they have to beat in order to win the championship. But it's going to be very difficult. Let's remember how well Louisville played last year against Florida in the Sugar Bowl, beat them decisively. One of the reasons was they have so many people from the state of Florida, as Mark mentioned. I think that plays a tremendous motivating factor. Plus, you go 11-1 and it's been a disappointing year. Maybe they'll take out that frustration on Miami. And the fact that Miami has really struggled since they lost their great running back.
You know, Duke Johnson is running back the coach is referring to, and Louisville really hasn't played a high-level game. Played UCF. They lost the game. This is another opportunity. Though certainly Miami is not vintage Miami. Hurricanes are on the upward climb. Here's your Saturday bowl schedule. We'll start it in Yankee Stadium. Rutgers free-falling at the end of the season, taking on the Fighting Irish.
Well, I think that will be an excellent game for Notre Dame.
Well, what